Hey everyone, we're outside my house and I just wanted to show you guys the front of the house and what I have going on. A lot of this still needs a lot of work. The last owner. Okay, so our driveway wraps all the way around like that. We have a gate opening on that end and then a gate opening over here. We try to keep them closed when we're home with the dogs, just because the dogs like to try to cross the street over to the mailboxes and to go to the bathroom, which is very dangerous. So we keep the gate closed for most of the time. Usually we also keep this gate over here closed, like pretty much we don't even, use this roundabout unless people are coming over, if we're having parties, or we know someone is going to be here, like a tutor. Anyways, the first thing you see when you come up to the house, is this gorgeous shop. It's a 3-car, technically a 4-car if you want to, but the big door is a roll-up door that you could put like an RV or a boat, basically whatever you want to put in there. We do have our motorhome in there right now. So, and it has, I think, 3 control panels. And over here on the side, we have RV parking. So here it is flat and there's gravel, but of course there's grass growing into all the gravel that we need to take care of. But it has enough electrical, I think it's like a 5 amp or a 50 amp, 50 amp connection, which some of the RVs that some of our guests had are 30 amps, so we just had them get a converter. It's like a little cord that you plug into it and it changes it to a 30 amp when you plug it into a 50 amp spot. We also have over here a detached garage with a carport, so that is super nice. And we also have another spot for a trailer and RV. There's 3 50 amp spots on this property, 2 on the shop, 1 on that end, 1 on this other end I just showed you, and then 1 on the side of the garage. We had a housewarming party towards the end of the month of July, and we had my dad and my sister come over with their trailers, and my mom stayed in our RV, and it was so much fun. The whole weekend was like a huge party. So over here we have the squash, and we got some free wood that we had to chop up, and we're just letting it dry out. We had to spray the wood because we noticed that they had some termites in the wood, and we didn't want to introduce that to our pile of wood. And we're going to keep this still, even after spraying it, we're going to keep it separate. This is going to be our first things that we burn in our fireplace this winter. So over here we have like a little wood shed, and it opens up in the back. I'll just show it to you real quick. I'm sorry, our neighbor is using a pressure washer on their house. They're painting it. They have a gorgeous house, and I think they're actually pressure washing their RV. Okay, so this is our wood shed, and this is how much wood we have left from all the years. We had so much wood at our old house, and we slowly kind of used it up. And then here is all of our potato barrels from our old property. I don't know, my husband wants us to continue doing it, but I feel like I want to just have the potatoes in a nice, neat area in the ground next year and use these for like composting, but we'll see. But we wanted to keep them just in case. We figure we could use them for our potato barrels again, or we could use them for composting because they have a lot of holes in it. So there's a lot of holes in it, so it would be quite a bit of air circulation it would be able to get. Sorry, my voice is a little scraggly, I guess. Okay, so here is our backyard. Actually the field, and there is all of our squash that you guys have seen already. And over here we have our buckets. I know that probably looked a little weird in the other video, but when we've previously stacked all of our buckets together, they're so hard to take apart. So we are now just leaving them in a stack like this, just so that we don't have them stick together as much. But we use these so much for like weeding, taking things out of the garden, soil. Like if we go to the soil place, we usually fill up the truck with these sticking up, so then when they dump the soil into the truck, all of these buckets are actually catching it, and we can actually grab them and just put them straight into the garden bed without having to put it into a wheelbarrow and then with a shovel put it back into the bed. It's just so easy to dump them from a bucket. And these are 5 to 6 gallon buckets. And then let's see, over here, let's see if I could get this gimbal to work. Okay, so over here we have this side of our property, and this is actually behind our shop, which is super nice. Our kids wanted to build a fort, so they took a lot of the scrap material from the chicken coop that we took apart because it was falling apart anyways, and it did not look so good. So we took that apart. And so I think they wanted to build like some type of fort right there. I have a bunch of compost going over there of the beauty bark, grass, things from the garden, basically table scraps and kitchen scraps. And we have kind of a nice little area of trees and bushes. I do want to try to clear up some of that one day, but it is really nice because you actually don't see the neighbor's driveway. So his driveway is quite long. It goes all the way up to his house, which is really nice. It's very private for him. So over here, I want to put in a greenhouse. I would love to build a greenhouse. I'm always sending my husband kind of designs or videos of people building their greenhouse from YouTube, and I kind of want it big because I've heard people say that they build a greenhouse and then they wish they built it like way bigger. So they say figure out what you think you want and then times that by 2, so at least you know that you'll have enough space. And then in front of the greenhouse, I don't know if you guys can imagine a greenhouse here. And then in front of the greenhouse is where I want like rows of potatoes and squash, pumpkins, corn, kind of more things that take a lot of room in garden beds. I just want a whole bunch of rows. I designed this garden and had it all drafted out, and I designed it even before we bought a house. It was my dream garden I wanted to build. Okay, so here are a bunch of plants that I bought. Almost all of our perennial plants, I get them off of clearance from Walmart and Lowe's, and I only found a few from Home Depot, but I don't really go to Home Depot to look at plants in general. But all of these shrubs, and here is our huge, not a huge inventory of boxwoods, but all of our boxwoods. I have Russian sage behind here, and I don't know, a bunch of these are for privacy. I thought these ones would be cute just for like a winter interest. They are a short, kind of like an evergreen tree that only gets, I think, up to 5 feet. Let's see here. Yeah, so average mature size, 3 to 4 feet in height, and then 3 to 4 feet wide, and the spacing of 5 feet. So I have 2 of those, and I thought that would be a kind of a nice anchor. Sorry. A nice anchor for the corners of this garden also, or like an entryway if I keep it in a pot. But I'm not 100% sure on how I want to use those right now. So I'll have to continue thinking about it. If you guys have any ideas, that would be nice. We have so much land that I just got to figure out what we could do with this. Okay, so this is, well, here, I'll show you the front first. It's emerald green arborvitae. And this one gets, let's see, 15 feet high, tall, and 4 feet wide, spacing of 4 feet. So these are not as fast growing as the green giants that I want to plant around the area, but I think these would be really nice in the very front or on the side of the house where our neighbors live on, just on the other side. We already have a pretty good privacy screen over there, so we don't really have to worry about it too much. There's just some spots that are kind of not as full as others. In this property, when we first got here and I was putting all the beds together, I wanted like a little flower bed in the back. All of these I got on clearance from Lowe's, Home Depot, or Walmart, and usually get them half off, sometimes more. Even all of the bulbs, the summer bulbs that I had to dig out all of the grass all the way down. And some of these don't look as good, but as a perennial, they don't look as good the first year, especially if you're buying them on clearance. They're not at the height of what they look like. Like these two, they do not look like they're gonna come back, but I'm gonna leave them and see what they do next year. What we had going on is we had some moles out here, and I would come out and there would be huge mounds of dirt, and moles sometimes like to eat the roots of your plants. So I think that's what happened over here, is that they might have started to eat the roots of the plants, but I will not actually know if they'll survive until next year. They just look really bad. I've not always been a plant person because our last property, I had no room for plants. Yeah, I have a sticker bush here and there, or at least little vines that I need to take care of. Some of the vines I've already used a vine killer on them, but this one and one over here I have not used yet. Okay, so I cannot even remember. I swear I need to like start labeling. I keep all the pots and the tags, and I just need to look that up and see. Same with these ones. Let's see. They actually have grown so big that they're kind of going over their tag. Let's see. Summit Basket of Gold. These are carnations. These are really pretty. I didn't have any of them that died. This one's a carnation that died. This one is a carnation that died, but they're still green on some of these little areas, and I think that they might come back. This one is not coming back. Okay, so let's see here. I have a bunch of these plants coming around. I already trimmed them. They were kind of done. They're still green. I still see little pieces, so we're gonna take a look at them next year. These should fill out. These are pink and those are purple flowers, so I figured those would look really nice to fill it out. I have no clue what that is. I planted those by seed, and of course I used a Sharpie marker that basically within a few months you can no longer read it. And then these ones I grew by seed, and those are, I think they're called rock crawlers, that they basically are a ground cover. They'll just start spreading on this side. I have a stick here to tell me that I planted the bulbs all the way down, and I just need to finish it off and get more bulbs next year. And I have a bunch of rocks over here. We have a lot of rocks on this property, so I put the rocks around the downspout, and I want to put the rocks all the way down our garden bed and kind of like have it as a border, or I want to get brick. We'll see. It's all about the time. My son, he was really good about putting out all the rocks here to trim out the garden beds. Okay, let me show you guys our carport. which is actually my garden shed. I'll come over here. So as of right now, probably like most other people's gardens, it is a mess. It is a huge mess. I have pots and trays everywhere. I work third shift, so I start at 11 and I get off at 6 a.m. I take the kids to school at 8 a.m. Then I come home. I'm usually in bed by 9 and hopefully sleeping by then. So I've not really had a lot of time to clean. I get up about 4:30 or 5, depending on how much sleep I got. So over here, I have a bunch of just stuff for the garden bed. Drip hoses. I got some pots. I also have 2 storage racks that I want to move to this side of the carport, because since this is our siding for the garage, I don't want to put any holes into this wall. I'm going to put the shelving units here and get a few more just to keep it organized. And over on this side, since it's just bare 2x4s, I have been putting some screws to hang up hats and mats and other things. And I want to use this side of the carport to hang up all of our gardening tools and maybe like the hoops for the beds and things like that. And so it's just a lot of junk. I have a huge box up here of just the 6-cell containers and other little pots, and you could probably see a bunch over here. I have a lot of pots because most of the time I start everything by seed. Myself, I've kind of got so used to not buying vegetable plants because of just having all the resources of starting it myself. Okay, so I got a lot of PVC pipes over here, and I got fertilizer, and I got some soil. This is a red raised bed mix or a potting soil. And here is the fertilizer to make the Midlighter weekly feed and pre-plant fertilizer, which I have in these 5-gallon buckets over here. So I could keep them kind of out, of the elements. And those are sealed pretty well. My son trying to help out. So sweet. This whole little roundabout, I want to extend it one day. It's going to cost a lot of money to put new cement, but the cement has so many cracks, is falling apart. And if we do, I would like to extend it quite a bit because it's very skinny in some of these areas. And then if we're able to extend it, I would love to trim the whole circle with like lavender or some type of really pretty border plants, and then leave sections open like in the middle and then maybe on the 2 sides. And it would be really nice to get some type of lighting and maybe like a little island. And I really want a weeping willow, but if I get it, this is not even center to the property, like to this little area, but that's where our well is. So they put a tree kind of to cover it, or a rhododendron bush to cover it. We have a lot of rhododendrons on this property and a lot of bushes. I would love to one day take all of this out, but my husband likes it, so that's staying in. So over here is the front of the house. I need to get a new flag. We have had issues with our pipe from our gutters going into the drain pipe, and there is a leak underground that ended up leaking down into the basement of our house. So we are going to cut the pipe, and we're going to cut the cement and have it trenched all the way to this drain over here. So as you can see, you probably can't see it on the camera as much or on the video as much. There's a lot of cracks, and the cement just does not look so good. It has a lot of issues going on, but we're gonna leave it. It doesn't have to be anything special or good looking for now. And then as you can see, they have a tree line over here. It'd be nice to kind of fill in the bare spots that you could see their property and fill that in. Yeah, we would like to have a sprinkler system one day, but that's on a wish list. Oh, our neighbors are coming over, I think. So we have Japanese maple. We have a lot of beautiful ground coverage. I also have a bunch of ferns, which we're in the Pacific Northwest, and ferns are everywhere. And then over here, I'm not quite sure what that is, but these are rhododendrons, 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 bunch of rhododendrons all the way down here. And I'm gonna leave these. These are kind of nice. They're more privacy over here. But some of these over here, I would like to take out, but we'll see. Yeah? Oh, are they coming over? Oh, the dog? Okay, I'll come and say hi. So this is our deck, which is fully covered, and it's so nice to have a fully covered deck, especially for parties, and has lighting. They have speakers inside the ceiling, but it's not connected to anything, so we got to figure that out one day. I gotta go. Okay, so my kids just found this little area on the side of the house that they could actually fit into and stand up like a little, not like a tree house, like a fort. There we go. That is so cool, Noah.
Yeah, this is for greenery, I think. Dad, come on. This is so cool. We have to do some work, but it's worth it.
Well, now you guys got your fort now. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I need help with this.
I didn't know that this was back here.
I didn't know either. I just came over here. I'm like, oh, look. You can go inside. I saw a couple cats coming back here.
Yeah.
But that's it.
So if you clean it up, it'll be pretty nice.
Yeah.
There you go. It's recording already. Why don't you go back there more, Daniel?
Don't, there's no spider web. None that I see.
Hey, babe. They found a fort. There's a whole open area back there. They can have it as a fort.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what you guys doing?
We're back here.
Yeah? Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So, we have this area back here that we can work with.